Hello everyone. In the last video, I had spoken about how you should prepare for topic 1.1a, that is culture, roles, norms, values, beliefs, customs, ideology, power, and status as elements in the social construction of reality. In today's video, I'd want to guide you as to how you should start preparing yourself for this second subtopic that we have over here, that is the importance of socialization in influencing human behavior, including the nature versus nurture debate. Now, as we speak about the importance of socialization, we need to understand that this topic is about socialization. This topic is about what influences human behavior. You're a human, I'm a human. What are the factors that influence our behavior, including a discussion on the nature versus nurture debate. So, to understand this particular topic, we need to okay, before I even begin with this, you need to see how this topic that follows topic 1.1.1a, sorry, 1.1b is topic 1.1c, that is import agencies of socialization and social control. This we'd talk about in another video, but in today's video, in this particular video, I want to explain you how to prepare for this particular part of the syllabus that I have highlighted over here. Now, as we speak about the importance of socialization in influencing human behavior, including the nature versus nurture debate, I would want you all to use this slide, or if you have any other book, you might as well use that book to the two popular books that students use for preparing for A-level sociology. One, the Purple Book, as we refer to it, published by Collins, and the other one, the Cambridge endorsed course book by Chris Livesey. Use whatever book, use both if you think that would help you better. Or alternatively, you could use these slides that you have in front of you as well. If you need them, leave me a message and I'll just share these slides with you. So the process of learning and socialization, including a discussion on the nature versus nurture side of the debate. Now, as we speak about socialization, what exactly is socialization? Socialization is a learning process that changes that changes humans into social beings. Now, that doesn't at all mean you would stop being a human. I mean, a human would be a human, but when you're a part of a society, when you're living in a society, you need to understand that you ought to be a social being, right? So we talk about the different factors that are influencing, or the different factors that potentially do influence human behavior. And while discussing this, we would also bring in the nature versus nurture side of the debate. Now, as we speak about the nurture side of the debate, the nurture, right? Do not go wrong with the spelling over here. Nurture. The nurture side of the debate supports the socialization process. According to the nurture side of the debate, us as humans, whatever we do, however we behave, we do so because we have been socialized, or we've been taught how to do this, or we've learned it or picked it up from the environment. This might sound new to you right now, but as you read through the syllabus, you'd realize that there's a lot of content that you could possibly put to use when it comes to supporting the nurture side of the debate. What I've seen is many students, they struggle with the nature side of the debate. The idea that us humans, the way we behave, the way we are, is perhaps because of biology, is perhaps because of, I mean, you could talk about biology, you could talk about genes, you could talk about heredity. Now, as we speak about the nature side of the debate, this is some content that can help you understand things better. The nature side of the debate might include social Darwinism, evolutionary biology, Potter and Bergville's research, Plomin's study, natural selection, Wilson's theory on biogramming, and social biology. Now, all of this might sound very intimidating to you at this point, but trust me, as you read them, this isn't as difficult as you think it is. I mean, I could explain all of them to you, but that would end up making this video super long, which I do not want. The key idea behind this video is to guide you as to how to prepare, not to actually explain everything over here. So as we move on towards the nature side of the debate claims that us as humans, we behave the way we do because of nature. We behave the way we do because there is some sort of a natural divide. There's some sort of a built-in or there's some sort of built-in instructions or programming that is there in us that makes us behave the way we do. And this is the opposite of the nurture side of the debate. Because remember, the nurture side of the debate, do not get confused with names here. The nurture side of the debate believes that you behave the way you do because you have learned how to do so, because the society has taught you how to do so. Whereas the nature side of the debate believes that you are the way you are because you've probably been pre-programmed to behave in a particular manner. There are certain natural drives, there are certain built-in instructions that you have that are making you behave the way you do. So you might as well pause this over here, read this. If you want this, like I mentioned earlier, I could send this over to you as well. Now, the list that you came across, this is the list I'm talking about. Now, all of this, I have mentioned this over here, which I'd recommend that you read, because as you read through the questions, as you have a look at the marking schemes of the questions, you'd see that the examiner expects you to give references from here. Moving on, if we speak about the biological ideas that support nature side of the debate, number one, you could talk about our biological makeup, you could talk about our genes, how they've evolved, how we've evolved as species. They all play a big role in shaping how we act and how societies function. Number two, you could speak about social Darwinism. Social Darwinism takes the idea of Darwin's theory of evolution, the idea of the survival of the fittest, and it applies to society. According to this view, just like animals in the wild, people and groups in society are in constant competition. The strongest, most capable, or fittest individual succeeds while the weaker ones fail. If we speak about evolutionary biology is the study of how living things, including humans, have changed and adapted over time to survive and reproduce. This field of science explains how certain traits of behavior might have developed in men and women because they helped our ancestors survive better in the past. So you're all all of this is inclined towards the role that nature plays, right? Nature plays towards influencing human behavior. According to the study by Potter and Bergwell, the research focused on how our how our genetics influence our behavior, showing that nature plays a significant role in shaping who we are. Moving on, if we so this till this part, this study by Potter and Bergwell supports the nature side of the debate. Moving on, if we speak about Plowman's twin studies, they help us understand how much our behavior and traits come from our genes. Again, you see how all of this is leaning towards supporting the nature side of the debate. By comparing identical and fraternal twins are non-identical twins, researchers can see how strongly our genes influence us. Plowman's twin study have shown that many traits such as intelligence, personality, and even some aspects of mental health have a strong genetic component. For example, if identical twins are very similar in intelligence, even when raised in different environments, this perhaps does support the nature side of the debate. Likewise, you could speak about natural selection. You could speak about Wilson's theory of biogramming, the idea that us as individuals, we have probably been coded or we've been programmed to behave the way we've been programmed to behave the way we do. Likewise, you could talk about sociobiology. You could add on the influence of sociobiological ideas on sociology. You could talk about Talcott Parsons, how this very popular and prominent functional sociologist, American functional sociologist, who was very popular in the 1960s. He claimed that us as individuals, we behave. I mean, he gave the examples of how there are certain roles that are expected of men and there are certain roles that are expected of women. And if we try, if we try not using these hints that we have received from nature, we would end up disrupting a society. So while Parsons acknowledged that men and women can choose to swap roles, for example, men becoming caregivers or women becoming providers, he believed that going against these biological roles can lead to inefficiencies in society. This is the line. Going against these biological roles could lead to inefficiencies in society. So again, Mr. Parsons is adamant on how biology plays its role in terms of influencing human behavior. On the other hand, this is the flip side of the argument where we talk about how nurture plays its role in terms of determining human behavior. Nurture, right? How nurture plays its role in terms of determining human behavior. As you speak about nurture, you could write down about feral children. What are feral children over here? Feral children are the children who've never been socialized. See, let me explain this to you real quick. If nature was so important, right? Do not get confused with names, right? Nature. If nature was so important, why is it that children who have not been socialized at a young age do not end up being like you and me, being do not end up having the traits that a recognizable human being has, right? So we refer to them as feral children or the children who've never been socialized. Let me hint you over here, the character of Mowgli, Tarzan, the Jungle Book, right? So in that case, we're talking about a human child who was not raised as a human, and as a consequence did not have any characteristic that could make him or her look like a human. There are several examples of feral children. You could Google the case of Shamdev. I mean, just write down Shamdev feral child. Just write down Anna feral child, and there are Genie feral child. Just Google this, and you'd come across a lot. So, as supporting the nurture side of the debate, you could write down about feral children. You could talk about cross cultural variation. What is cross cultural variation over here? The idea that if human behavior was actually natural, then why is it that in different cultures people behave in a different manner? And why is it that in different cultures society has different expectations from humans? Then you could move on and talk about Mr. George Herbert Mead's theory. George Herbert Mead, you can George Herbert Mead. You don't need to learn the entire full name, but yeah, just so this theory that was put forward by me, the I and me theory. If someone asks you what this I and me theory is, this I and me theory is a theory of socialization where you talk about how, as an individual, when you're born, as a newborn, you are selfish and not socialized, right? And slowly and gradually, as you are a part of this society, you through the socialization process, you learn how to be the way the society expects you to be. So, from a newborn who is not socialized, a transformation from your I to your me, right? From a transformation from I to me. How, as a newborn, you were not socialized, and then you moved on to, I mean, then you were socialized, and slowly and gradually you turned into a socialized individual according to the expectation of your society. So you could write down about this. Moving on, you could write down about the idea of presentation of self that was put forward by Erving Goffman. Now, as we speak about this idea of presentation of self, as the name suggests, us as individuals, we present ourselves in a particular manner. We present ourselves in a manner that our society expects us to present ourselves in, right? So I am a teacher. I know that the society has certain expectations from me as to how I should present myself as a teacher. And you as a student, you have an idea as to how you play a role as a student, as a son, as a daughter, as a friend, as a nephew, as a niece, as a grandchild, so on and so forth. Next, we move on to this another theory that was put forward by C.H. Cooley, this looking glass self theory. The idea that us as individuals, we see ourselves through the society's view. We see ourselves the way the society wants us to see ourselves. Now, this is, I'm not even explaining this, I'm just trying to give you an idea. You could simply pause this over here, learn these three names. You could learn this name, Mead, Goffman, Cooley. It would just take a minute. And they remember supporting the nurture side of the argument, right? They're supporting the nurture side of the argument. And yes, if you want to read about feral children, there are a few examples that you see in front of you. You could just read this. We have another example of a feral child. You could read through this as well. And then we speak about cultural differences. cross-cultural variations. This explains us. The I-Me theory, again, as we speak about this I-Me theory, this is what I had said a minute ago. This example would help you understand this I-Me theory in a better manner. Pause this, read this. The presentation of self, I gave you an idea about this. You could give this a read. How government sees us playing a particular role within a society, just like actors do on a stage. The looking glass self theory, people act like mirrors showing us how others see us. I give a very typical example here. If you wear a particular color, someone says you look good in that color, you'd want to wear that color again. And on the other hand, if you wear another color and someone says you do not look good at all, the next time you want to wear that color, you'd give it a second thought. So you're actually seeing yourself as the people around you see you, right? So you're using people as mirrors that are showing you a reflection of yourself. Now, we could go on. There's this example of a question: evaluate the view that human behavior is shaped entirely by the process of socialization. We get a 26-mark evaluative essay question in paper one and paper two both. Over here, you do get a choice. This question is typically question number 4. The fifth question that you get is on research methods. You could either choose to uh, answer the question from topics 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, or from topics or from topics 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, that is research methods. You could pause this, read this here. So is the case with this. Remember, this is not a sample answer. This would just enhance your understanding. Word count 1112 words. Yes, for an evaluative essay question, you are expected to write around 900 to 1000 words, give or take. And for this, you get around 40 minutes to do so. These is another topic. I don't want to go over here for now. So if I talk about some questions that you've had from topic 1.1 no, from topic 1.1b, this is one question that you've had in May, June 2021, question 1-2, that reads: evaluate the view that human behavior is shaped entirely by the process of socialization. There's this another question that you have had in November 2021, variant 11 and 1-3 both. The question over here reads: evaluate the view that nurture is more important than nature. So on one side, you write down about how nurture is more important, probably writing down 3 paragraphs in support of it. And then the flip side of the argument against the view, you write down about how nature is more important, followed by a fancy conclusion. So these questions are the same. Moving on, you have had another question in November 2022, variant 1-1. This is question number 3, where you do not get any choice at all. So your paper is essentially divided into 2 parts. This is section A that I've put in a green block, where you do not get any choice. And then you have section B, a choice between question number 4 and question number 5. So moving on, again, the same question: socialization controls the way people behave. You want to know how to attempt this question, let me know. I'll send you a file that would help you. Again, in May, June 2023, you've had this question that says evaluate the view that nature is more important. I'm showing you these questions so that you know you cannot miss this. So these are a couple of questions that we have had on this particular part of the syllabus that you see highlighted in front of you. And this subtopic over here reads: importance of socialization in influencing human behavior, including the nurture versus nature debate. So yes, this video did not mean to explain you. This video was meant to guide you as to what needs to be done. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.